Hi, I'm Brandon LaBeouf with NOLATAC Training and Consulting, as well as the St. Bernard Indoor Shooting Center. In this installment of our Louisiana Concealed Handgun Permit Instructor Development Series, we're going to talk about staying in your lane. You may have heard that phrase before, but what exactly does it mean? It's something that you typically kind of hear more towards the military side of things, but it certainly made its way out into the general population. And what that means as it pertains to us as instructors is making sure that you are only presenting material that pertains to that body of knowledge that you are qualified, not necessarily certified, but qualified to present. For example, most Louisiana Concealed Handgun Permit instructors are qualified via state police to be instructors by virtue of previously being a NRA basic pistol instructor. There's only two ways you could teach CHP, and that's either being a Louisiana Concealed Handgun, a NRA basic pistol instructor, or being a Louisiana post-certified instructor, which is a law enforcement instructor. Most of the instructors that are teaching classes are NRA basic pistol certified. Now, if you market and teach your classes as NRA basic pistol courses, and you are teaching them per NRA's basic pistol curriculum, presenting an NRA basic pistol student packet and presenting an NRA basic pistol certificate. Of course, this currently moving to the online version, but you're teaching a legitimate and 100% NRA basic pistol course, then that's fine. That is obviously legal. However, what some instructors are doing is taking that information and somehow parlaying that into a defensive handgun class or a carbine class or a concealed handgun class. Remember, absolutely nothing about NRA basic pistol was ever intended, nor does it even come close to being what would be considered a concealed handgun permit course or a concealed handgun course or a defensive handgun course. It is a very basic handgun safety course. That's all the curriculum was ever designed to be. Now, the state has decided to accept that as being adequate to get your permit. That doesn't mean that it actually prepares someone to the same extent that other curriculum may. And that's where, as an instructor, you have to make a choice of, are you going to teach an NRA basic pistol course, or are you going to teach what I call the 9-hour format, meaning the outline that the state police puts together that includes what I think is the most important part about a CHP course, and that's the legal aspects, all the nomenclature, all that stuff, but the legal aspects. The problem is if all your professional knowledge or education or research or whatever, if none of that has anything to do with legal aspects, now you're drifting outside your lane. So you're starting to teach things that you aren't qualified to teach. Okay? I have many instructors that come and sit in on my class just to kind of see how I do it, and also, more importantly for me and selfishly for me, to give me feedback and give me ideas on how I can make my class better. I've devoted a lot of personal time and money and resources to formal education as it pertains to this very small minutia of law, self-defense law. I've also devoted a tremendous amount of time and resources to personally researching, to reading, to seeking out people, to taking additional courses, to broaden my understanding, to broaden my lane of travel, lane of teaching, to include that. Okay? As it pertains to that very small scope of law, I consider myself to be pretty educated, and as such, do things that would technically be considered at an expert level. Do I know everything? No, there's certainly people that know a lot more than me. The problem is that it's taken me 20 years to get to this point, and there's still a tremendous amount for me to learn. But there are people who will take an NRA basic pistol instructor course one weekend, get all their paperwork done, and in a week or two they're now teaching CHP classes outside of the NRA curriculum. So it's important to make sure that you are not, even though you maybe know a little more information that you want to add in, if you're teaching NRA, it has to be verbatim from that NRA curriculum. No more, no less. You could add some anecdotal stuff and some personal experiences, but you're staying within the framework of that curriculum. When you say, oh, well, I'm not going to talk about NRA activities branch, I'm instead going to talk about holsters during that time, or I'm going to talk about situational awareness, or I'm going to talk about the places you can't carry. Now you've deviated from that NRA curriculum. So you're not teaching an NRA course because you're not following the NRA curriculum. All that NRA Basic Pistol Instructor Certificate certifies you to teach is NRA Basic Pistol. When you drift outside that lane, now you're outside the scope of that curriculum, and you may or may not, as an individual, have the knowledge to qualify you to do that, but that certificate does not certify you to do that. And that's where we need to differentiate between the legality as it pertains to state police of what you're certified to do and the actuality of what you know and you're qualified to do. Okay? Many years ago, I took an H&K armor's course. I am a certified H&K armor. However, I haven't touched an H&K gun in God knows how many years. So am I qualified to work on them? No. But I have a certificate saying I can. But I know I don't have the knowledge to do that, so I don't do them. If I were going to start doing that, I would go seek additional training and refresher and get up to date. So when you hear that phrase, stay in your lane, it's not, lots of people say it as kind of an insult, but understand that's not just protecting you, but it's also protecting your students. If you drift out of your lane and you bill your course as an NRA course, yet you teach other things, number one, you're most likely to get your NRA credentials revoked. But then further and more importantly is that then if that student makes a decision based on that information that you gave them that was false because you weren't qualified or was incomplete because you didn't have a depth of knowledge, now you're opening yourself up to some liability. More importantly, you very well may get your student killed or incarcerated because they were making a decision based off of bad information. So certainly we want to promote instructors to broaden their lane as much as possible. Learn everything you can. Take it all in. Learn from your peers. Take additional classes. Research. Read. Everything you could do to become more knowledgeable. But be very honest with yourself on where those lines are. Where are those white lines? Remember, when we're driving, we have to keep it between the lines. And it's kind of the same thing when instructing. I'm not a big reloading guy. I don't know a whole lot about the intricacies of ballistics, so I don't teach those kind of classes because I know I don't have the information to do that. Okay? So make sure you're doing yourself and your students a good service by teaching the things that you are qualified to teach and that you are staying within the legalities of your certifications which allow you to teach with our current legal system. If you have any questions, you can check us out on our Facebook page for NOLATAC or St. Bernard Indoor Shooting Center, and of course in the comment section below. As always, be vigilant, be prepared, y'all stay safe.